So today, I'm going to show you a very quick and easy way of making the entire website from scratch. And the only thing you need to spend money on in this tutorial is actually buying the hosting. I'm going to show you how to get stock photography for free, how to make your logo for free, and also how to flesh out your content for free. Okay, so this is going to be the website that we are going to be building in this tutorial. So as you can see, here's the main header for this company. And if we scroll down, you can see there's a customize about us. We can go even further. Here's a bit of services. And if you click these buttons, it's going to go to a services page. And at the bottom, there's going to be this whole customize area with all our details and a little bit of an about us. And over here is the services, and over here is the copyright with our website name. And if you go into the other pages, say about us, you can see how this website is actually going to be looking like. So without further ado, let's get started. If you don't have a logo designed yet, there's a whole bunch of tools on the internet that can help you actually make one for free. In this tutorial, we're going to make one from scratch. We're going to be using a free product from Adobe called Adobe Express. Now, Adobe Express is a free online tool that all you have to do is register with them, and then you can create pretty much anything that you want online. So let's go make one for our website. Okay, so to use Adobe Express for free, all you have to do is go into Google, type out Adobe Express, and what you want to look for is this one over here that says free design, photo, and video tool. Now, this is Adobe Express that's free to use. So all we do is going to go into that. You're going to come into this screen over here, and then you can say get Adobe Express for free. Now if you don't have an account on Adobe, just go and register with them. Once you've done all that, then you're going to come to this screen of Adobe Express. So now what we want to do is create a logo. So all you have to do is go into logo, and then you can see all the templates that Adobe has in this free version of their product. Now because the website I'm going to be making is about bicycles, I'm going to be looking for a bicycle to represent my logo. So that's what I'm going to go do over here now. So here in logo search, I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to type out bicycle. And here's all the search results that I can choose from. And then I can just pick one and then just modify it until I'm happy with my own logo design. So the one that I'm going to go with is the very first one over here. I like that bike style, and I do like the way this font looks like. Okay, so now that I have my template loaded, let's start editing this thing. As you can see, as you hover over, you can select all these and you can click and drag, and there's a whole bunch of settings on the left hand side that you can tweak so you have the perfect logo that you'd like. So the first thing I'm going to do over here for myself is I'm going to remove this cycling club. I just want two things for the name of the actual company. This very first one, I can click on it. You can see there's a whole bunch of settings on the left hand side, but I can also go and edit whatever it says there. So for me in this example, the name of the company is going to be Fab Bikes. So this first one, I'm going to be typing out Fab, and then the second one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click on it, and then I can go and change the word to say bikes. Okay, so now that I'm happy with that, let's start rearranging this till I'm very happy with the design. So this bikes over here, I want this underneath Fab. I'm going to click and drag it, and you can see when you're in the center of this whole logo. I'm going to do the same thing with Fab. I'm going to click and drag that until it's in the center of the logo, and then I'm going to let go. Now you can see everything center aligned. But now if I want to have this Fab a little bit bigger, what all I have to do is click on it, and then this top corner I can drag it out, or you have an option on the left hand side to change the settings of the sizes there as well. Now that I'm happy with the size of the Fab, I'm going to click and drag it back into the center, and then I can just make it go down a little bit just until I'm very happy with where it's spaced. I'm going to do the same thing with bikes. I'm going to click and drag it down the middle, and I'm going to let go, and I like the writing pretty much as is over there. Something that I do want to change though over here is I'm going to change this Fab to a white as well. I'm going to keep everything white in this logo design. So I'm going to click on that. All the settings go on the left hand side. Here this fill, I'm going to click on that, and then I can just select white. Now everything's going to be white in my logo. The last thing I want to do to this logo is I don't want this background color. I do want it transparent, because then I can go and use this in a whole bunch of different places with a transparent background. So I'm not just limited to the background color. If you want to keep the background color, that's fine by you. You can change it to whatever style you want as well. It's going to be in the same process that I'm going to show you now. But for me in this example, I'm just going to take out the background. So to do that, you head over to the top here, you can see background color, click that. I'm going to say no color, but again, you can go and change it to whatever you want. But for me, I'm just going to make it transparent. Okay, so now that I've done that and I'm pretty happy with the logo, all I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to the top over here on the right hand side and just click download. So now you can see that this whole pop-up has appeared. In the file format, you can choose PNG or JPEG or PDF, whichever way you'd like to go and download it. Just pick whatever you'd like and then just go for it. For me, I'm going to keep it as PNG because I want to maintain the background transparency. JPEG doesn't do that, so just bear that in mind. And then I'm just going to click download. So here's my logo on my desktop. You can see it's a nice decent size that we can use it in a whole bunch of different ways. And now we can move on with the rest of the website. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to be looking for stock photography that we can use inside our website. Now, the stock photography sites that you can go is actually quite a few, but the one that we're going to be concentrating in this tutorial is going to be Unsplash. I like using Unsplash because it hasn't got that corporate-y feel. It has more of like a warmth vibe to most of the photos. Not that there's anything wrong with the corporate feel. If that's what you're after, I mean, go for it. But in this tutorial, we're going to be using that sort of styled imagery. So if you head over to unsplash.com, this is the site that I was talking about. So all the stock photography here is free to use. They do have Unsplash Plus, which you pay for, but in the free version, you're going to find loads of stuff that you can use for your website. So here in the search bar, I'm going to type out bicycle, and then it's going to give me all the search results of all the photos that are bicycle related. So here in the search results, you can see all the different images that are tagged with bicycle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a whole bunch of different images that I'm going to be using for my website. So I suggest you do that the same. Go and pick up a whole bunch of different ones, or what you can do is you can keep referring to the site as you're building along. And to download, it's very easy. Just click on the picture that you're interested in, and then you say download for free, and then it'll just download to your PC. Something that you have to do before using these images on your website is you have to shrink them down. Maybe in Photoshop or whatever other editor, maybe even Paint, you do have to shrink them down to a full HD type of aspect ratio, so that's going to be the 1980 width, because these images are very, very high quality. And that type of quality comes with a lot of space. So you don't want very large images on your website because it is going to slow it down. So do shrink these images before you use them. The quality is not going to be impacted, but at least the size of the image itself is going to be much smaller. So now that you've picked up all the images you're going to be using, let's head over to the next step. Okay, so what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be making the content to our About Us section. If you don't have a write-up for your company, the easy way of doing it is going over to ChatGPT and just fleshing out the prompt so that it can give a write-up for you for your website. It's very easy to do. We'll be using the free version of ChatGPT, and the only thing you have to do if you haven't done it is just sign up for the service. Okay, so if you haven't used ChatGPT, the URL is literally chatgpt.com, but I'm sure pretty much everyone has used this already. So here we are at ChatGPT. We're going to be using the free version of 3.5. If you haven't signed up, all you do is click on the sign up button and then you can just register for free. Otherwise, just log in. Okay, so here we are in ChatGPT. Now, in order to make up the prompt, we need a couple of things. So we first have to tell it what we are looking for, which is going to be the About Us content. We're going to give it the company name. We're also going to tell it what services we offer. Then ChatGPT will know exactly how to flesh out that content so that we can use it in the About Us section of our website. So the prompt that I went with in ChatGPT is as follows. I need the About Us section for my website. The company name is Fair Bikes. Obviously put in your company name. We service bicycles, bike fitting services, fork and shock services, and also do wheel building. Now obviously you're going to put in your own services here as well, and also put in anything else that you'd like to put into this prompt before pressing enter. But once you're happy with your whole prompt, then ChatGPT will give us the whole About Us section for our website. Now this is the response that ChatGPT gave me. It's actually a pretty decent one, but I actually want it longer, so I'm going to ask for that here for my prompt. Now this second version that ChatGPT gave me is a lot better. It's a lot more fleshed out, so I'm going to be using this version for my website. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this to my PC in a text file, and then when I'm building my website, I can quickly just copy paste this over onto the website. And that's literally all we have to do to flesh out all the text content of our website. So if you'd like to use it for a service for any reason, then you can do the same thing here. You can ask ChatGPT to help you create the text content for that service. So now we're going to be talking about hosting. You are going to need good hosting. Don't go for the cheapest that you can find absolutely anywhere on the net. I know that you're going to be tempted to do so. I mean, I've done it myself a couple of times, but time and time again, having good hosting is just the way to go. Those absolute cheapest packages, they have to make a profit anyways. So the servers that they use are not the same standard as other professional hosts. So your site's really going to suffer from speed issues and other things are going to be cropping up. If something does go wrong on your website and you need to contact your host, a lot of those cheaper alternatives, the technical support takes forever to help you on your problem if they ever do. And that's not a situation that you want to be stuck in. And let's not forget that if you're going for the cheapest, things like a CDN, which is very good for your website, will cost extra on top of what you're already paying those cheapest hosts. Now, having said that, there are 3 really good hosts that you should look at. And those 3 are Hostinger, SiteGround, and Bluehost. Those 3 hosts offer servers that are catered for WordPress specifically. So right off the bat, your website will already have a leg up versus someone who went for the cheapest hosting possible. Now all these 3 different companies have different packages catered towards WordPress, and the one that I'm really enjoying right now is SiteGround. So if you are interested in using a SiteGround, it's going to be a link above and a link in the description that'll take you directly to their website. With full disclaimer, it is an affiliate link and I do get a small commission that helps me support this channel. Now having said all that, let's go buy our hosting. So here in the SiteGround website, All we have to do is click on the Start Now button and it'll take us on this very easy wizard to go and buy our hosting for our website. Okay, so something that I really like about SiteGround is on the very first year of hosting with them, you have over 75% off the annual fee, which is pretty cool because in the first year, if you decide to go and close off your business, at least your website didn't really cost anything. So let's go click on this button now and start the whole process of buying hosting. So over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the Start Now, and it's going to take us to all the different packages that we can choose from for our WordPress hosting. Of these 3 packages, I recommend that you always start off on the very smallest one that they offer. Once your website has grown and you need more capabilities, you can just let them know and they'll definitely upgrade your package, and there's nothing's going to happen to your website in any shape or form. So that's exactly what I'm going to do over here. I am going to choose this cheapest one. I'm going to say Get Plan. Then it's going to be asking for what type of domain. If you have an existing one, then you can transfer it over to them. It's not an issue at all. They take care of all of that stuff. If you don't have a domain name, then all you have to do is go click on here, enter your domain, and then find the name that's most suitable for your business here in the domain name. This is slightly tricky because there's so many names that have been taken already and you really fell in love with the name of your company. But do go as close as possible that makes sense to your company name. The other thing I'm going to say over here before we continue is you can also choose your extension. By default it's .com, but you can go for your country extension, something like that. But do keep to the main extensions. Don't go too crazy like .show or club. So for me personally, in this example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose .co.za, which is my South African extension, and then I'm going to put in the name that I want to go with for the hosting that I'm going to buy. Once you're happy with the name, you click continue. It's going to go check to see if that domain's available. If it is available, then it's going to take you to the next screen for you to fill out your details. So here you can see that my domain name was available. Now I just have to give account information, client information, my credit card details, as well as what type of purchase period you actually are choosing. Do go for the 12-month one because that's where you get the best discounts. So really do consider using that billing cycle. Something extra over here that they do offer, but I don't really use myself, is a site scanner. I use WordFence really, and I'm quite happy with that. I've never had an issue where I needed external scanners as well. But if you are very worried about something like that and you're not comfortable just using WordFence, then they already have one here available for you. Okay, so what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to fill out my own personal details, and then we're going to go over to the next screen. So once you've successfully purchased your website hosting from SiteGround, you're going to be presented with this screen here. Now from this point on, all you have to do is wait for the email that SiteGround is going to send you, and from that point it's very easy to set up the WordPress that we are going to be using to build our website. So here's the email that SiteGround has sent me for my new website. We're going to click this button where it says set up site. It is going to take us to the login screen for us to log into our account in SiteGround. So here's that login screen that I was talking about. All you have to do is put in your username or email, and then it's going to ask you for the password, and you just log in. And here we are in our own personal backend of SiteGround. So all we have to do over here to make the installation process very easy is just to click set up site. So in this beginning part of the wizard, what they're asking for over here is the domain name that you had chosen, which is the one that we had bought with our hosting. So we're going to say the existing domain. Here's the domain name, and then we're going to click continue. Now because this tutorial is based on creating a new website, we're going to be clicking the start new website button for our new website that we're going to build. So once we've clicked that, you can see that this little section popped up, and what we're going to be selecting is WordPress. If you're building an e-commerce one, then you'd select WordPress with WooCommerce, and they'll set that up for you. But in this tutorial, it's just a business website, so I'm going to click on WordPress. And then finally in this page, all you have to do is put in the email address and password that you want to log in directly into WordPress, so that you don't have to go through the hosting, so you can go right into your own site from your own URL. On the next screen, because I didn't add Site Scanner, it is just double checking just to make sure that if I still don't want it. I don't personally want to use Site Scanner for this particular website because it is just an example website. If it is something you want, then please do add it into your hosting. So the last thing I'm going to do over this side is just click finish. And there we go. SiteGround is busy creating our whole WordPress installation in our new hosting. And there we go. Our WordPress installation has successfully been installed on the server hosting. Okay, so once you've clicked on that tools icon, it's going to take you to the screen over here. There isn't really too much that you're going to be needing to use from the hosting at this point, but it's good to have a look at all the different things that they have. If you ever need to go into the files directly, you can do it over here in the hosting. To get to the actual files, all you have to do is click on site, and you can go into the file manager, and here you can see all the files on my WordPress installation. Now if you want to access your site from here, from this point, you can. You just go into install and manage WordPress, and then I can show you over there. Or what you can do is actually type out the domain that you had bought and just put /WP admin, and that's going to take you into the login screen of WordPress itself. I know it's two different login screens, but This one's catered specifically for your server, and the WordPress one is catered specifically for WordPress. You don't need to do both at the same time. Generally, you don't go into the server really that much, especially with a company like SiteGround. Nothing really goes wrong ever. But if you're on the same screen like me and you want to access directly from here, all you have to do is click on Install and Manage WordPress. At the bottom, your domain is going to be over here, and all you have to do is click on this action button to log into the admin panel of WordPress directly. Now here we are in my domain, and this is the wizard that SiteGround has presented us that can guide us through setting up everything we need. I'm not going to be using this in this tutorial. It is a very helpful wizard, but for the purposes of this particular tutorial, all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Exit Wizard. Okay, so what we're going to be doing over here now is we're going to be adding in a plugin that's going to help us build out our website. And if you had gone with SiteGround in your hosting, then they already have something that's very useful to help you build out your website. But in this tutorial, I have to cater for everyone. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using another plugin that's also pretty good. So in order to get that plugin, what we're going to do is we're going to head over to the left-hand side here to Plugins, and we're going to click on Add New. Here in the Add Plugin screen, we're going to be looking for the one called Starter Templates. Here in the plugin screen, if you're not on SiteGround, it is going to look a little bit different, but it's going to function the same, so you don't have to worry about that. On the top right-hand side here, it says Search Plugins. So the plugin that we're going to be looking for is the Starter Templates, and we're going to put in that phrase right over here. In the search results, there are going to be a couple of results returned, but the one that we're looking for is by a company called Brainforce. And this is that very first one right over here, so you can see this animated icon. This is the one that we're going to go and click and install. Once it's installed, the last thing we have to do is click on Activate. Okay, so now that we've installed the plugin, what we're going to do is we're actually going to start the wizard. Now here I am in the dashboard. Now if you go click on Dashboard, the automatic wizard should kick in. If it doesn't, and you're on a screen like this, all we have to do to kickstart the wizard is go over to Appearance, and we're going to go into the Starter Templates. The next screen that you're presented is you can choose to build with AI, or you can choose one of their classic templates and build it from scratch. In this tutorial, we are going to be using the classic method. If you'd like, you can go through the AI website builder. It's up to you. I am going to be sticking with the classic one over here. So this next screen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Build with Templates. Here in the screen, you can see all the templates that I have made. There's a whole bunch of different templates. There's definitely going to be something to suit your needs. But the one that I'm going to be using in this tutorial is going to be called Sierra. So in order to find it very quickly, here in the top, in the search bar, I'm going to type out Sierra. So in the search results, this one with the elephant is the one that I wish to go with. I'm going to click on this. It's going to open up a whole new screen over here. So in this new screen, we're going to start customizing just a little bit before we start editing the pages. So over here, it says Site Logo. So now remember, we already made the logo before we actually started this. So all you have to do is click up Upload File over here. It's going to bring you to the screen. Then you just drag and drop the logo right into the screen, and then it'll upload it for you. Okay, so now that's uploaded that white logo of mine, that's going to come very useful for this type of theme because the backgrounds are generally darker over here. So it's going to offset the dark background of the website. Okay, so now that you can see the logo is in place over there, it is a little bit too big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make this thing a little bit smaller. To do that, here you see that logo width. And then I'm just going to drag it down until it's the right size that I want for this navigation bar. I think for me personally, the 76 is fine. I'm going to keep it just like that. And now I can actually move on to the rest of the stuff. So the very next thing is going to be the font pair. I'm going to keep it like this because I like the way this font looks like. And then in the color palette, it's going to be your primary color. So like all these buttons and things like that, just change it to the way that you'd like for your website. So for me, I'm going to be using a yellow in this website. So in order to change it, all you do is click on it and then you can go and choose the type of color that you want. Okay, so for me, that is perfect. It's like a bit more of a darker yellow going onto orange. And then I'm going to click on continue. So in this new screen, you get to select a whole bunch of features that you have in mind that you'd like to incorporate into your website. For me in this tutorial, I'm not going to choose any of these. I'm just going to simply skip this step and I'm going to go into the next screen. Here you just have to say a little bit about yourself just to let the company know who is actually using their plugin. So I'm just going to fill this out quickly. Okay, so now that you've filled out all your details, all this stuff that's over here, it's just to let you know there's going to be installing the required plugins and that sort of stuff. The last thing that I personally actually uncheck on this is to share non-sensitive data. But this one for me, I'm just going to click on it and just disable that particular one. But everything else, I'm pretty good to go. So with that out the way, the final thing we have to do before this thing starts building is going to click on the submit and build my website. And there we go. Our website has been installed over here. So the next thing we can do is either go view your website in the front end so you can see the whole theme really on your hosting, or you can go visit the dashboard. But let's go visit how this thing looks in the front end. So here you can see the theme template in action. You can scroll down and you can see a whole bunch of different things that it has here as options. You don't have to use all of these if you don't want to. We are going to be customizing a lot of this. We're also going to be removing a page from this because I don't need so many pages for this particular website. Okay, so now we're going to actually start editing the pages. So we are going to be starting on the home page, but you can use any editor you want. Normally I go with Elementor, but in this tutorial I'm going to keep everything very simple. So we're just going to edit it with the Gutenberg editor that is already built into WordPress. Okay, so in order to edit our home page, what we're going to do is we're going to click on this edit page. Now that's in the front end. I'm also going to show you on the next page how to do it in the back end, so you don't have to always do the edits from the front end. But for now, in the home page, let's just go click on edit page. Okay, so now that the Gutenberg has loaded up, you can see that now we can actually edit all the different aspects of this home page. So if you move your mouse around, you can see it start highlighting different aspects of your website, right? And if you go and click on one of these things, a whole bunch of different settings will be available on the right hand side if you go and click on block. So if I go now and select this button, you can see that a whole bunch of different things have changed on the right hand side, and now we can edit everything about this button. But the first thing that I want to go and change is this actual background image. I'm happy with the style of how the background image is being presented, because it's actually being presented a bit more dark, so there's an overlay happening on this, so it fits the way that I'd like to actually design this website. But to get to the settings, all you have to do is click on this background image. Just make sure that you're not actually clicking another block. So I'm going to go onto this right hand side close to this whole settings panel. I'm going to click on that, and now you can see that everything has changed, and that's because this is the settings for this actual whole block. Now the setting that I'm looking for to change the image is going to be under here under style. So if I click that, you can see that here is the image that's being represented in this background. So to change it, all you have to do is click on change image. So the image that I'm going to be using is one of the ones that I had fetched from Unsplash. Now remember that we had fetched a whole bunch of images that we wanted to use on our website. This is where we're going to start using them. So let me go get that image now. To load up images is very simple. All you have to do is go open up that folder that you have all your images and click and drag the one you want here into this window, and you can just let go. Once it's uploaded and you can see that it's selected, we just say select. So now that I'm happy with the background image, the next thing I want to edit is the actual widget that has this name over here. I'm going to put in the name of the business that I'm actually building out for. So to do that, all I have to do is click on this, and now you can see there's a whole bunch of different settings. Under general, you can see there's content. You have a whole bunch of different options here, so you can left align it, center, all that sort of stuff. You can change the styles if you want. You can change the spacing. There's a lot that you can do over here. What I'm looking for is actually just to change the text. So in order to change the text, all I have to do is click on this text over here again, and now you can see that there's a cursor blinking. So I can just quickly go and delete this and put in the company name. Okay, so now that I've entered the company name, the next thing I'm going to be doing is the button underneath. Now this one's going to be slightly tricky if you've never done anything like this, but not to worry, just follow along on this tutorial and you'll be fine. Okay, so now the aim of what I want to do with this button is when I click it, I want this whole website just to scroll to the next section. So to do that, the very first thing I have to do is actually skip past this section to scroll down. I'm going to click on this white spot here in this widget area. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a unique name. Why I want to do that is because I'm going to refer back to that unique name to this button. Okay, so don't worry, I got you here. So now we're in the settings of this area. I'm going to click on advanced, and at the bottom I'm going to click on advanced again, so it has this. Now what we want is the HTML anchor. So this HTML anchor is that unique name I'm going to give to the section, so I can call it again in the button above. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to type out the words. I'm going to say about our section. Now that I've typed it out, I want to show you something just very important. When you're saying about our section, please use a dash. Don't put spaces. So just put a little dash in between the words instead of pressing the space bar. That's the only difference you really have to do. Now we can select this whole thing. We can just say copy. And if we go back to that button, we can go put this into its link. So every time the button is clicked, all that happens is that the whole website just scrolls to the next section. Okay, so now we've put in that name and we've actually copied it. What we're going to do is we're going to head over to the button. Now just be careful of this next part. When you scroll up and you click on this little widget area, this over here for buttons is for buttons in general. What we want to do is actually edit the button itself. So if I click on this in the area, you can see on the right hand side it gives this type of settings, but doesn't give you a link. It's only to stylize all the buttons of your website. So what we want is the actual link. So to do that, just make sure that you click the actual button. Then you can see on the right hand side there's a whole bunch of different settings. It's going to affect this button directly. So here under link, that same name that we just copied of that section before, all we have to do is paste it. So what happens now is because it's got that hash sign and that name, all that a user has to do is click on that, and then the website will automatically scroll to that next section. It sounds a little bit tricky, but it's not really. If you follow along on this tutorial and you did everything the same, then it's definitely going to work. Now that we've done that, and we don't have to really worry about changing the text. If you want, you can. You just have to click on it, and then you can see the cursor and you can change the text if you want. I'm happy with that over here. Okay, so now that we have the link in place and that everything is working, because it should be, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lighten up how this button looks when you hover over it, because right now it's a little bit darker, and in this section I actually want it a little bit lighter. So while we're in the settings on the right hand side, I'm going to go over to style. I'm going to look for the background because we're going to change the background color. And over here, I'm going to go over to hover so that I can change that color that's over there. And then I'm going to click on this color and a whole new pop-up will appear. So I'm going to do that. Here I'm going to select that same orange. And then all I want to do is just make it a little bit lighter. Now that I'm happy with that, I can go out of that little box. So now every time you see when I hover over, it just lightens up on that particular button. The rest can actually stay. And then the last thing I want to do on this button is I'm going to take out the border on this one, just because of the background image of this particular section. So to do that, I'm going to go over to border. Here under border, you can see under style, all I'm going to do is take it to default, and then I'll just take away that border over there. So then you don't have to worry about that anymore. Okay, so now we're happy with this whole section and how it's looking. Let's go over to the section underneath. And this is where we start talking about ourselves. So in this section, what I want to do is I want to keep the about us and the text underneath, but I don't want this particular heading over here. So all I have to do is click on it. Now you can see the cursor up here. I'm just going to take it out. And there we go. Now you can still see it says write a title. I'm just going to leave it as is, but I'm going to concentrate this text over here. So the text that I want to put over here is the content that we got from ChatGPT, but I'm not going to put the whole thing. I am just going to use the first and second paragraph maybe. I'm not going to put the entire about us over here. I'm going to save that for the about us page. So I'm going to head over to that text that I had saved, and I'm just going to select the first two paragraphs. Now that I've copied the paragraphs, I'm going to click back in over here. I'm going to make sure the cursor is selected. I'm just going to go and select all of this, and then I'm just going to paste over what is here already. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this other widget over here. I don't need it. So just click on the white space, and you can see this little menu pop up. With these three dots, I'm going to click that, and I'm going to say delete. So now that I'm happy with the write-up, the next thing I'm going to do is going to change the settings of the button underneath so that it goes to the About Us page. So to do that, I'm going to click on this button and make sure it's the button, not the entire widget. Here you can see all the different settings appear on the right hand side. I'm going to look down at content. I'm going to click that. So under link, what I want to do is actually put page URL that I want to be for About Us. So to get the link, it is a bit of a step over here. In Elementor, they already have a pop-up little search thing that you can just put in the pages. But over here in Gutenberg, that isn't there enabled at the time of making this video. So to get to URL, we go over to the back end, which is this over here. I'm going to go into pages. In the pages section, I'm going to hover over the About Us. Over here you have edit, quick edit, trash, and view. So if you want to edit the page, in the back end over here you can click on edit. Quick edit is just a couple of settings. You can't really change anything in the front end of it. Trash is to go and delete it. And view obviously means that you're going to see the front end. So let's just click on view. Now it's going to load up the about page. Over here you can see on the top there's a URL. I'm going to copy that whole URL. I'm going to go back into the page that I'm editing, and I can go and put that in the link. It is a slight little bit of a step, but it's not really a hard thing to do. So now that we're happy with the button, there's something that I want to change in the background. Now you can see over here it's white, but in the front end it's not going to be white because it's actually doing that whole yellow spectrum that we had chosen right when we were setting it up. But I do want to overwrite that. I want to put this as white. So to do that, I'm going to click on this white space over here. And then in the settings on the right, I'm going to go click on style for the settings. I'm going to click on style. And under background, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the paintbrush. And over here, you can select the color. So I'm going to go and select white. Now that I'm happy with that, I can move on to the next section. So in this next section, this is where we're going to be listing out all our services. Now in the services section, I'm going to list out everything that I do in this example tutorial. So have yours out ready just to put into this section. So what I'm going to do over here, I'm going to keep the services heading, but I'm going to remove this. I'm just going to be putting my services down over here. So let's just go and do that now. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to go to the back where the cursor is blinking, and I'm just going to delete the whole section. Again, don't have to worry about this saying write a title being in the front end. It's not going to be there. Okay, so now I'm just going to fill out all the services that I have for this website. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the heading of the service and a description of the service. I'm going to list a couple down over here. Okay, so now that I've written all my services and I put a short description, then I'm ready to move on to the next part. If you're having trouble with actually giving a description of your service, just go to ChatGPT and let it help you just flush out a little bit of a description for that exact service over there. It's a very helpful tool and you should use it. On the right hand side, we have this small sentence over here. I'm just going to put some type of motto or something like that just to reflect the whole business and the services that I offer. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this. I'm going to make sure the cursor is blinking. I'm going to go to the back and I'm just going to start deleting this old one, and then I'm going to put my new one in. Okay, so now that I have the sentence that really encapsulates the entire website, I'm going to be putting something now new into the section because I actually want a button that's going to take me to the services page. So to do that, on the top left hand side, you can see there's a plus. I'm going to click that. You can see this whole new window pop up. I'm going to be looking for a button. I'm going to click and hold this button. I'm going to drag it across. until it's the right section. You can see that little blue line appear, and I'm going to let go. Now you can see that the button's in place, but it is a bit too close to that first sentence. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add something called a spacer. Now a spacer is literally what it implies. It just adds a little bit of space in between different widgets, just so that you can actually align everything more to the way you want in your design. So to get that, all you do is you click on this plus sign again. Within all these widgets, you just have to look for the spacer widget. So I'm just going to search it in the top over here. I'm just going to type out spacer. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and hold. I'm going to drag it across until it's in between the sentence and the button, and I'm going to let go. So now you can see that there's a bit more space in between the button and the text. But I don't want it that much. So on the settings on the right hand side, I'm just going to drop it down to about an 80. Now that I'm happy with that, now I can concentrate on the button itself. Now remember, to get to the settings of the button, you have to click on the button itself and not in the area around it, because that's going to open up like a general settings, and I actually want the settings of this button specifically. So I'm going to click on this button, and then you'll see all the settings of this particular button on the right hand side. The first thing I'm going to change of this button is, instead of saying click here, I'm going to change this to view services. Now again, just like the first button, I want this to lighten up in this dark background. So to do that, I'm going to go over to style, I'm going to go to background, and then I have a tab. I'm going to change this to be more of a lighter color instead of it going darker like that. So I'm going to click on the color. Then what I'll do is I'll take the slider and it's going to make it a little bit lighter. So now when I hover, you can see it just lightens up a bit. Personally for me, I like that because it's a better look against the dark background. Now that I'm happy with that, I'm going to go back into the general. Here in the link, I'm going to go look at the pages again, and I'm going to go look for the services page. So to get the link, it was the same as before. I'm going to go into the pages of my backend, and I'm going to go and get the URL of the services page. So to do that, we're going to head over to the backend. We're going to make sure that we're in the pages section. I'm going to look for the services page. I'm going to hover over it, and then I'm going to click to view that page. So then when the page is loaded up, I can go and get the services URL. So now all I have to do is go and copy it. I can go back into my edit, and then I can paste it. Do remember to take out the hash when you're pasting a URL. Hashes are reserved for sections. So if you name a section like we did right in the beginning, where we named the About Us section in the middle, then that is where you actually use a hash so you can refer back into that frame. On URLs, it's not the same, so just remember just to take out that hash. Okay, so now we're happy with all the settings of the button. The last thing I want to do is I want to align it to the left-hand side to be more in line with the sentence itself. To that, you can see this whole little menu bar over here, and you can see this align text. To change it to the right-hand side instead of center, I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to say align left. Now you can see that the button shifts over to the left-hand side, more in line with the beginning of the sentence. Now the last thing that we actually have to do into this section is change the background image. The background image is going to reflect more of the services and my business. So this ocean doesn't really work for me. I do like the darken effect, but I'm just going to change the background image. So I'm going to click on this empty space over here so that it brings up the settings of the actual container. I'm going to go over to style, and then I'm going to say change image. Now I'm going to go look at that folder of images that I got from Unsplash. I'm going to find the one that's best suited for this section. Now that I found the image, I'm going to click and drag it across to this open window. I'm going to let go. It's going to upload. Once it's uploaded, then I can say select. Now we have that image in the background. Now you can see it better suits my services. And that's all that we have to do for this section. This very next section, I'm just going to take out because I don't have any projects or anything for this business. So to do that, I'm just going to click on this section. I'm going to go over to this little menu that's on the left-hand side. As you can see, there's these 3 dot icons. I'm going to click on that, and then right at the bottom, I'm going to say delete, and I'll just take out the entire section. Then the final part of this page is this sentence over here and this button. So what I'm going to put over here is to find out more, contact us as the sentence, and over here I'm going to say contact us, and I'm going to make this link to the contact page. Very easy to do. I go over to the sentence over here. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to make sure that the cursor is in the back. I'm going to delete this, and then I'm going to put my own. There's my sentence over there. I'm happy with the way it looks and where it's aligned. So now I'm going to move over to this button over here. Now you can see the cursor is there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this learn more to contact us. Now that we're happy with that, I'm going to make sure that I'm in the button settings and not on the widget settings. So I'm going to click on the button specifically. Now we have all the settings over here. If this happens to you that you don't see the settings, you can see that there's a down arrow. So if you click on content, everything will appear. So now the same as the services and the about, what I'm going to do, I'm going to head over to the backend. I'm going to go get the URL of the contact us, and then I'm going to go and paste that over here, but making sure that I remove the hash. So here in my dashboard, I go over to pages. Here in the list of pages, I'm going to hover over contact us. I'm going to click on view, and then I'm going to go and get this URL and then paste it into that link. So here in the link, I'm going to take out the hash, and then I'm going to go and paste that URL of the contact us page. And that's it. We are finished with the home page. So then the final thing we have to do after all this editing is just say update. Now your home page is successfully updated, and now we can move on to the about us. Okay, so now we've finished with the home page. That's most of the work has been done. We just have to do the about, services, and contact. I am going to be removing the other pages that we don't need, but it's all good because from here on out, all these other pages are going to go a lot quicker. So to get to about us page from the front, we just go over to the top. Here under about, we click that, and then the about us page will load up. Now you can edit it from here. On the top left, you can see that says edit page. We just click that and we'll go into the Gutenberg editor. But I did mention before that I'm going to show you how to do it in the back end. Very easy to do it. I'm going to show you that now. So here in our back end, we go over to pages. Once the pages has loaded, we're going to hover over this about page and we're just going to click edit. And that's going to take us to the exact same Gutenberg editor that we could have done from the front end. So you can choose either way that you'd like, either from the front end or from the back end. It's going to take you to the same place. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to change about this is I'm going to change this color to white just to really offset the dark background. So I'm going to click on this text. I'm going to go into style in the settings on the right hand side, and the color of this, I'm going to take it to white. Now that I'm happy with that, the only thing I'm going to have to do is just change the background image to actually suit the website that I'm building. So to do that, I'm going to click on the space over here, same as before. Now that the settings on the right hand side, I'm going to go over to style and I'm going to say change image. Now from those list of images that I had saved from Unsplash, I'm going to go and choose one that's going to represent the header of the About Us. Now that I've found my image, I'm going to click and drag it across into this window and I'm going to let go and allow it to load up. Once it's loaded up, I'm going to say select, and there's my image in the background now for this header. So now we can move on to the next section. This section over here, I'm going to be doing the same as we've been doing before. I'm going to be editing the text to better suit the website. So this nature's love is over here. I'm going to click on this until the cursor's there. I'm going to make sure I'm behind nature, and what I'm going to say is bikes, because that's the type of website that I'm building. Now this sentence over here that says one touch of nature, I'm going to change it to the exact same one that I had in the home page in the services section. Now that I'm happy with the left hand side, it's time to concentrate on the right. And this is where we're going to put that whole text that we got from ChatGPT. So this first heading over here, I'm just going to make something a bit more personalized. So in order to do that, I have to make sure this is selected. I'm going to make sure the cursor is there. I'm going to remove the old text and I'm going to be putting my own. And underneath this, I'm going to put that text that we got from ChatGPT. So to do that, I'm going to make sure that I've selected this piece over here. I'm going to make sure the cursor is there. I'm going to take all this old filler text and I'm going to replace it with that text from ChatGPT. Now that I've done that, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out this bottom section here because we just don't need it. Now if you want to, you can also remove it, because you can see that there's this menu over here. We just click on the 3-dot icon and then we can press delete. One thing I do want to add over here is I think I should have a picture on this side just to make sure that this white space is filled with something. So what we need is a widget for our image. So to go and get that widget, we go to this left hand side over here where this plus sign is. We're going to click that. This window opens up. I'm going to look for image. I'm going to click and hold that until it's underneath that sentence with ride with confidence, and then I'm going to let go. So here this widget is actually asking for an image. So if you have an image that you want to use already in your library, you can click that, or you can click upload. But you can also upload from the library, same as what I've been showing you before, where we just click and drag and just let go onto that library window. But you can just upload directly from here. So if you do click upload, a window will just pop up and then you just select the file from there. So if I go click upload, you can see the window open up, and then I can just go and quickly select the image that I want to use. And that's going to be this one over here. I'm going to say open, and there's our image in place right where we'd actually like to have it. If you do want to have this aligned or anything else like that, you can see that this icon over here in this menu, it actually says align. You can click that and it can actually tell you all the different types of options you have for that image. But for me in this example, I like where this image is, so I'm not going to actually do anything else to it. Now if we scroll down to the next section, I like what it says over here with all these counters, but this section underneath, I actually don't need it at all for this example website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all this section over here, and then I'm going to concentrate on these here. So to remove all these widgets, all we do is move the cursor over the widget, we click it once, this pop-up menu appears, the 3-dot icon is over here, we click that, and we say delete. And we're going to do that with everything going down. Now that everything's been removed that we don't want, now I'm going to concentrate on this section over here, and that's going to be the last piece of the About Us page. So the text over here says some cool facts, I'm going to keep that, and then the numbers speak for themselves, I'm going to keep that as well. And on these 3 counters, I'm going to customize them to actually suit this website. I'm going to keep most of these headings the same, so satisfied clients, years of experience, I'm going to keep those headings. The completed projects I am going to change to bike services because this is a bike website. So to change the text in the widget, all you have to do is actually click on it, make sure the cursor is blinking, and then just add your own numbers. So for me, it's going to be 168 satisfied customers, Number of years, I'm going to keep the same as 15. The last one is completed projects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this. I'm going to make sure that the cursor is in the right position because I don't want to say completed projects. I do want to say bike services. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete this completed projects, and then I'm just going to write bike services in its place. And then in the number, I'm going to make sure that I'm behind it when I click. Then I'm going to put in the actual bike services that this company has done. Now that I've done all these things on this page, I'm finished. I don't have to do anything else. The whole page has been completed. So the final thing that we have to do for this page is just say update. And there we go. Our new About Us page has been done. So the next thing we're going to do is going to be looking at the services page. Okay, so here in the services page, we are going to customize it pretty much the same as we did the About. It's going to be pretty quick and easy to do. So here on the services page, I'm going to go over to this edit page. I'm going to click that, and it's going to load up the Gutenberg editor. Here in the Gutenberg editor, I'm going to change the color of services to white. So I'm going to click this widget. In the style, I'm going to make the color white. And then the last thing that I have to do in this section is change the background image to suit the whole website. So to do that, I'm going to click on the spacing. I'm going to go over to style, change image. I'm going to select the image I want to use from that folder that I have. And then I'm going to upload it here. Now that I found my image, I'm going to click and drag it across, let go, let it load up, and then say insert. So now that that's done, I'm going to move on to the next section. So here is what we do, and we make nature smile. So now obviously I'm not a nature thing, I have to customize this. So I'm going to keep the what we do, and then I'm going to put in a different heading over here, and I'm going to put in my own text here. Again, if you need some help, just use ChatGPT. So to change the heading, I'm going to make sure that I click on it, make sure there's the cursor, and I'm going to go and replace this with my own heading. Now that I have that, I'm going to put in that text that I was talking about. Same thing as the heading, click on it, make sure there's the cursor, select everything, and then replace it with my own. Now we've done with all the text. On the right hand side, I'm going to change these images. So all you have to do is click on the image, because this is the actual widget. So you don't have to go for the spaces. You just click on the whole image itself. And then you can see under style, you just have to change the image. So to do that, I click change image, and then I'm going to select the ones that I want to have in this place. So here's the first one. I'm going to click and drag it across, let go, let it upload, select. It's just the same as the background that we did in the top. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the second image. I'm going to click it. I'm going to say change image. And then I'm going to select the image, drag it across, let go, and then say select. And there we go. There's our two images on the right hand side. Very quick and easy to do. Now we can scroll down to the next section over here, and we're just going to customize this one. So here we have the services heading. I'm going to keep that the same. Let's go along with nature. I'm going to replace with that same sentence I had used in the home page in the services side, just to really make everything congruent. So to change it, it's the same like before. Click, wait for the cursor, and then go and replace it with my own. Now this widget over here has 4 different sections, and I'm going to replace each one with the services I provide. Now I only have 3, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to fill out these first 3, and then I'm going to delete this last one. So I'm going to go and quickly fill out this information here now. And there we go. I filled out the information of the 3 different services I have. It's the same thing as all the other text widgets. I just had to make sure the cursor was there before I started editing that little section. And then also the same thing for text, make sure for the cursor, and then I replaced it with my own. Now the last thing I need to do is actually just delete this last one for myself. So I click this widget, this whole pop-up appears. On the 3 dot icon, I say delete. Now if you have more services that you want to include, you can do the same type of process. You click on the widget itself, you click the 3 dot icon, and then you can say duplicate, and it'll add another one underneath. And you can do that on either side, it doesn't actually matter. Now that I have my services in place, the last thing I have to do on this widget is just customize this text and this button. Now this is going to be the same as what we've been doing before. So I'm going to click and wait for the cursor. I'm going to replace this with my own text. Okay, there we go. And then this button, I'm going to say contact us. I'm going to put it to the contact page. So to change the text of this, it's the same as before. I'm going to click on it, wait for the cursor, and then change this text over here of the button. Now remember, I need to get the URL for the contact us. So while we're in the button, you can see here's the settings. If I click this content, then you can see that there's this link. I must just get that link for the contact us page, and then I'm going to put that here, but making sure that I remove the hash. And there we go. There's my contact URL. I'm going to keep it over there. Then the last thing to do to wrap this up is just click update. Okay, and that is our services page. Very quick and easy to do. If you want to view your pages in the front end, on the top on the right here next to update is this button here, and that's view page. What will happen is when you click it, a whole new window will pop up and it'll actually show you that page over there. So as you scroll down, you can see how the page looks. So next thing we're going to be doing is the contact us page. I don't have a projects page, so I am going to be removing this out of my website, but for now I just have to concentrate on the contact us. So I'm going to click on contact. Now remember, you can edit pages from the back end like I showed you before under pages, and you can hover over that page and click edit. Or you can just say edit page from the front end over here. It'll take you to the same place. So now that the Gutenberg editor has been loaded up, I'm going to change the background image to suit for my website. So it's the same process as before. Click on the space, make sure I'm under style, and I'm going to say change image. Once I've selected my image, I'm going to click and drag it across and let go, let it load up. Once it's loaded, I'm going to say select here at the bottom right. And that's all I really need to do on this particular section. And now I'm going to scroll down to the contact us details and I'm going to start filling this in. So instead of saying contact us, I actually wanted to say something different. I'm going to say get in touch. So to do that, it's the same process as before. Click behind the contact us. I'm going to replace the text with my own. This little sentence over here, that's the filler. I don't really want it on my website. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to select it and I'm just going to remove it. So now that I'm happy with that, it's time to fill out all this details. So for the address, I'd click on it, make sure the cursor is blinking, and then I'd change it to the address of my business. Over here in the email, I'd actually change this to the email address of my website, and then the same thing goes for the number. So changing the text of this is the same principle as any other text widgets, which I'm sure now you've grasped the concept of. Very easy to do. Once you've customized everything, we can move on to the next piece. So now that all our contact information has been filled out, now the social icons that I'm actually looking for is the ones that are going to be putting my own social media into those icon URLs. This particular widget is not designed like that. This one's actually designed to share our stuff to that person's social media. So this particular widget with all these different social icons, we are going to remove and we're going to put in a different one. If you want to just share, then you don't have to follow this step, but I do want to link my own social media here on the contact us page. So to remove this, I want to make sure that I select the entire widget and not just one of these icons. I'm going to click on this three-dot icon and I'm going to say delete. Next, I'm going to go to the plus sign on the top left. I'm going to type out social, and here you can see the social icons versus social share. So I'm going to click and drag this social icons into the correct place underneath follow us. I'm going to let go. Here you can see no icons are added. You actually have to add all the ones that you need. So here on this plus sign, we're going to click this of this widget, and now you can see a whole bunch of different social medias that are available to us. If you don't see what you're looking for over here, you can say browse all, and it'll bring up all the different social medias that there are available. So the first one I'm going to choose is Facebook. Now all I have to do is select that. Now once I've clicked it, you can see the social icon of Facebook is over here. If you click this social icon, you can see it's asking for an address. Over here, we're going to put the address of our social media into place. So all you have to do is go to Facebook, to your page, and then just copy that URL that's on the top down here into this address. Now that we have that, you just press enter. And now your URL is saved in that social icon. If you ever need to change it again, all you have to do is click on that social icon and it'll pop up that same window over there for you to put in the URL. So to add another one, I'm going to hover over this entire widget, click it once, and then you can see that plus sign appear again. And now I'm going to add Instagram. So to do that, I click plus, and then I go to browse all, and then I can just say Insta. Again, same process. I click it once, it appears. Then I just click this icon and it's going to ask for the URL. And it's just the same process like Facebook. You go into Instagram, you go into your profile, and then you just copy the URL, and then you just paste it here into place. Once you're happy with that, you just can press enter. And now it's going to be saved. Now I'm just going to keep these two, add all the ones that you need. But now we're going to move on to stylizing this. So in order to stylize these icons, what you have to do is just click on the widget itself, not the icons, and a whole bunch of different settings appear on the right hand side. So what we're going to be looking for is this tab over here for the styles. Once we click that, then you can see how you can shape it to any way you want. You can even make these pills, which I actually am going to do over here. And then we can change the colors to better suit our website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the icon color just as the white, and the background I'm going to change to the theme yellow of the website. Now that we've done all those things, now we're going to customize this contact us. You actually select the widget, so make sure that you don't just select the block, because this is just going to be playing with the block itself and not the widget. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over to the widget itself. So we're going to click on the space over here of send message, and now it'll bring up all the different settings of the email block. Now I'm happy with how this thing looks. If you want to change anything in particular over here, you can. So like the successful message, you can change, error message, all that sort of stuff. The same thing goes with the button. You can change its orientation, its alignment, and things like that. What we're looking for is actions. If we go in that, now we can enter the email address where all the contact forms are going to go to. So just all you have to do is put in your email address over here, and then all these forms will go to you. You also have the option of changing the subject line, which is pretty good so that you know it's coming from your website. For me, it's okay over here in this example because I know what form submission is for me. Now that we're happy with that, now we can move on to this last section of the contact page, which is the maps. All you have to do over here is put in your address, and then the Google Maps is going to show a pin. So let's go and do that now. Okay, so in order to get to the settings of the map, just click on this white space over here and not on the map itself. We click that, and then all the different settings of this widget is going to appear. What you're looking for is the address. Here we're going to put in the address of your business. Once you've done that, you can see that the map pin auto updates. Then the final thing we're going to do is I'm just going to zoom in this a little bit more so that people have a clear indication of where exactly on the map it is. So right now it's on a zoom 14, I'm going to go to a 16. And that's it. Our contact page is officially done. So to finalize it, all we have to do is click on update. Okay, so now that we've done all the pages of our website, now we're just going to tidy up a few odds and ends. So what we're going to do is we're going to be removing the projects page because I don't need it in this tutorial. I'm going to add the link for the contact us. I'm going to customize this button, and right at the bottom there's this lost footer area, and we're just going to customize this real quick as well as change a few settings here and there. All very quick to do, so let's begin. So to quickly get into the back end from the front, you just hover over this very first option here and you click dashboard, and that obviously takes you to the back end. So now we're going to remove that page. So to do that, we go over to pages. It's going to load up all the pages, and we're going to remove certain pages. So this privacy policy, I don't need it, so I'm just going to check it once. You can just trash it immediately when you hover over that option, but I'm going to be doing a couple of pages just to clean up this whole website. So it's the privacy policy, the sample page, and the projects, because I don't need that projects page. The sample page is just a demo page, you don't need it. And then the privacy policy for me, because I don't need it in this tutorial. Once we've done all that and we've selected the ones we want to delete, we can go into bulk actions and we can say move to trash and apply. What happens is the stuff isn't permanently deleted, so you can always recover anything you deleted from the trash. So now in this pages menu, you can see there's a trash there. So if I click on that, you can see here's the 3 different pages that I had initially deleted. If you want to restore one for whatever reason, you can hover over it and you can click restore, and it will be restored back to your website. So you don't have to worry that something is permanently deleted. But if you do want to empty out all these things from the trash and just have them permanently deleted, all you have to do is click on empty trash. Okay, so now what happens if we go to look at the front end, so if I hover over this and I go to visit site, now you can see in the front end that project page isn't in the menu anymore. So now we can move on to the next thing, which is going to be customizing this button. Okay, so now to customize the button, all we do is we head over to our back end again, we go to appearance, and we're going to say customize. This is going to load up a different customization options that we can do at a global scale. What we're going to be looking for is to change this button. So we go over to the header builder, we find the button, and now we can edit everything that we need to for the button. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a link to this button. I am going to change this text over here to something more appropriate for me, but those are the 2 things that we are going to be concentrating for in customizing this. To get the URL, all we have to do is go to the front end, go to the contact us page, and copy the URL. When we come back, all we have to do is paste that link. Now make sure you take out that hash. Then for the text, you just have to click it, and you can customize it to however you want. What I put for mine was just to book an appointment. Once we're happy with that, then we just have to click on publish. Now we're going to go over to the footer area. So to edit things over there, we can do it in this customizer. There are other ways to do it, but over here it's just very helpful that we don't have to go to different screens. So we just click back away from this button that we just customized. We click back again to go away from the header builder, and now we can look for the footer builder. We're going to click on that, and we're going to concentrate right at the bottom here to change all this over here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to change this powered by my WordPress. I don't want it. So to do that, I'm going to go to this one that says HTML1. I'm going to click that. You can see that this whole widget thing opens up. If it doesn't, there's sometimes a welcome screen. Just say got it, and it'll take you to the same screen over here. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove all of this. Now that I'm happy with that, I'm going to keep this over here just fine. It does say by my WordPress, but that's another setting that we're going to change right at the end. The next thing we're going to concentrate is this About Us section. You can click on this pencil and it'll take you directly to that widget, or in the actual footer builder, all you have to do is click on widget 1, because this is the first widget, and then we can customize it right over here. So what I'm going to do in this little About Us, I'm going to put a more personalized thing for the website. It's going to be the same one that I used right on the home page in the beginning. So let's just go and copy paste that here. So the same thing applies. You just click in, you make sure that you delete all the old text, and then you just paste in the text that you want to use. Now that we've done that, we are going to move over to this contact area. The services one I'm going to leave for now, but we just have to change that slightly in a different area. So right now we're just going to concentrate on the contact us. You can do on the pencil here and it'll take you directly to the widget, or we can go out of the footer builder and we can go to widget 3. So to edit this, we just have to click it, and then you can see it open up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out this first sentence. I don't really want it. And then I can put in all the contact information that I want for this website. So you just have to update everything here that is needed. So once you're happy with all the information, then all you have to do is click on publish and it'll be updated in the front. We are almost done. So we're going to go out of this customizer and we're going to do the final touches. So to do that, we're going to click on this X and it's going to take us to the back end of our website. So to change that services menu that you saw in the middle widget, we are going to go to appearance and we're going to go to say menus. Here on the top, you can see there's the primary menu, and if you click on that, there's that services menu that's in the footer. So we're going to click on this just because we're going to edit it, and we're going to say select. Here you can see all the custom links that they had made for this template. We're going to remove all of these and we're going to add in our actual pages. So to do that, we're going to click on this down button, and then you can see remove. And we're going to do that for every single one of them that are here in this template. Now that we've removed everything from the old one, on the left hand side you can see all the different buttons, and we're going to select all of these ones and we're going to put that into this menu. Now that we've added all the pages to this menu, now we can move them to the order that we want. So I want about us, I'm going to hover over it, click it and drag it up. I want that first. I want contact us at the bottom, and now that's the order that I'm quite happy with. So once we've done all that, final step for this menu is to say save menu. Now that we've saved, we just have to go into one more setting just to finalize this whole website, and that's going to be settings and general. Here you can see the site title is saying My WordPress, so that's why you're seeing in the front end it is copyright My WordPress. So this is the title of your actual website. So we're going to change the site title to the actual company name. So once we've changed the site title, the last thing we have to do is click on Save Changes. And there we go, our website has been completed. So if we go look at the front end, you can see our complete website in action. Everything is working. And if you scroll down right to the bottom, you can see all the updates that we have done here, and the copyright has been updated. And there we go. We have successfully built an entire website from scratch. We've got free images. We used ChatGPT to create the content for our About Us page, and the website looks very good and it wasn't hard to do. I'm glad you stuck around to the end of this very long tutorial. If you have, don't forget to like and subscribe because that stuff helps my channel a lot. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
You could be larger than